Even though it says USB 3 or the blue, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to give you the speeds that.
Yeah. I've got ASUS router that's relatively old at this point. It seems to work nicely.
I clicked on admit you. I did, I promise. Now it says admit you again. That's not showing anything. Yeah. There's Art. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay. I don't.
Host disable participant screen sharing. Why would you do that?
Well, you know, because I'm talking and not paying any attention to stuff. There you go. You should be able to screen share now.
I didn't even try. It just slapped me around. I didn't even try it before it slapped me around. My wire-free camera is starting to hang in there. It's getting enough. I think it's getting enough light now. We got leaves falling, so it's got more light. So it's starting to hang in there. I need to try out my other wire-free. Though if it gets dark, it's not going to stay up. Yeah. The host has asked you to start your video.
Your video is disabled. There you
I
are.
would prefer that.
I was going to say, there you are, but it's really me.
Yeah, I know. That's why they. I thought you were concerned about me, but it turned out you couldn't see yourself.
I've gotten used to seeing myself.
Oh, yeah. So next week you may have a new member. Yeah, one of my old students is still alive and retired. Could be interesting.
Next week, I have to stay home. You guys can meet in person, but I have to stay home.
That's how it works sometimes.
Anything new, Art?
Pardon?
Anything new?
Not that I can think of. Basically, we're in the midst of bidding PAC for our transition, and that's usually a little hectic, but other than that, everything's cool.
Cool. We've been having some moderately decent weather. I mean, it rains, but it hasn't been real cold.
I noticed you also in the last several days had some rain.
Yeah, but it wasn't bad. It didn't last very long.
Well, you got to fair fraction of an inch, like north of half inch, about 3/4 of an inch total, I guess.
Yeah. I think it kind of depended on where you were at in the tri-state, because in Franklin, we didn't get much rain at all. But on the highway going down to Monroe, it poured, and then when we got to Monroe, it was barely raining. So I think it kind of depends on where you're at, or where you were at.
Yeah. Well, in Milford, we got I don't know, 2/3, 3/4 of an inch over a couple of days.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a steady drizzle. It wasn't like a major storm or anything.
Yeah. Patty tells me that this week we're supposed to be up in the 70s, at least today,
Okay.
which I'm not complaining.
Well, thus far this fall, frequently been the case that temperature in Milford was above the temperature in Fremont. Now that won't continue for very much longer. We will start to cool down. So far, we have not gotten a freezing temperature in Milford. We got down to 33 one night, but never below 32. So at any rate,
It was, according to Google, it was 43 last night, and we had the windows open, and it was nice and comfortable.
okay. Well, depending on what you're used to, that may or may not be a window opening temperature. So at any rate.
Well, I told Patty kept saying, I'm cold. I'm like, well, close the windows. No, then it'll get hot in here.
Yes.
Well, welcome to marriage.
Don't tell me you're cold, and then it'll get hot. Jeez. I don't really know what to do about that, really.
Wait till you get to 65 or so, then you're along for the good old days.
Yeah.
Suffice it to say, I was perfectly comfortable with the windows open. Patty, on the other hand, it's either too hot or it's too cold.
Yeah, Barbara has grew up in Southern California, so she's used to a bit hotter temperatures.
Yeah.
So, it's all a function of what you're used to. I noticed that a lot of my Chinese colleagues, particularly Taiwanese colleagues, are particularly sensitive to the cold. So
That would make sense. They're not used to it.
well, this is particularly true of the 0th generation people that so
No pictures today from the Booth Woods.
really.
Yep. Downloaded some from yesterday.
So all your hummingbirds have gone south, I assume.
Yeah, they left us a couple of weeks ago.
But the deer should still be around.
Oh yeah, the deers are starting to. They're gonna be visiting us. All the crops are gone, so they have to rely on our grass to eat.
Well, aren't they coming into a hunting season now too?
Yeah. And that's why it's the hunting season. They're starting to herd up and go into the woods. Let's see, here we go, real lake. Let's see what kind of pictures I got. Okay, there we go. Okay.
I assume your land is posted. Is that right, Jim?
No,
No?
no.
So they hunt on your land?
Well, hunting is kind of like Texas. To hunt on your land, they have to have permission. People have to have permission to hunt. And that's the way it is generally everywhere.
So that's not considered posted then?
No, mine's not considered posted. It doesn't have to be. People can't come on your property hunting. I mean, that's a general principle everywhere. In Texas, they can take you away if you don't have permission to be on the land. I don't know what the local laws are, but that's generally everywhere. If you're on someone else's land hunting, you just can't do that unless it's public lands.
Uh-huh.
Aren't you considered in the city limits, sir?
Yeah.
So you can hunt in the city limits anyway.
You have to have a permit if you're going to hunt deer, I guess you have to have a permit.
You gotta have a permit no matter what you hunt, but you won't be able to hunt inside the city limits. You'd have to go to designated hunting areas, right?
People do hunt, but they come over and ask for permission, and I very sometimes impolitely tell them no. I like deer hunting. They do deer hunting. I'd like to get a coyote. You got to have a permit to kill a coyote.
I guess it would depend on what kind of hunting.
But getting a permit to kill a coyote, excuse me. Okay.
Well,
but we are in the city limits, so it's if you're out in the county,
yeah,
that'd probably be different.
I think my kid, he hunts, but he bow hunts, and he goes out in the county to a big field that the farmer that owns the field lets people come in. I guess he pays to go there or something.
What he's hunting, a lot of farmers will let you hunt. You're taking out something they consider a pest.
Deers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a kid, they used to get a nickel a piece for pigeons. And ammo at the time was a penny a piece for 22 shorts.
So making money.
I was 10 years old going into Tom's cigar store in Hamilton and buying my own ammo.
This place that he goes, I guess it's a big farm that has some woods on the edges, and he goes and hunts in the woods and he takes out deer.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a bow hunter, so
yeah. This hunting season is twice as long anyway.
Yeah, his hunting seasons are different.
So how often does he get a bear?
Well, he's been doing this for 10 years that I know of, and he's bagged one. So, And he was
Okay.
out too when he actually got one, so. He's been doing it for a while. It's not quite as easy as he wanted it to be, I don't think.
Crossbow or recurve, compound?
He has a crossbow, and he has. I don't know if it's I think it's a long thing. It's got a curve on it.
A reflex bow?
I think it does have pulleys on the end. Yeah,
That's compound.
yeah. It's a long thing. He got the one that he got was with the crossbow.
Yeah, I kind of want to get a crossbow. But then my girlfriend would be upset with me because I want to go to a band.
He has a couple of 22 long rifles and a couple of shotguns, but he says that bow hunting is what he likes to do. So,
Was bear hunting strictly bow, or can you use firearms?
he hunts deer, not bear.
No, I'm talking about bear hunting. Is that strictly crossbow, or are you allowed to use firearms to hunt bear?
I don't know.
You're allowed to use firearms, but the hunting season is shorter.
Ah, okay.
Almost everything, at least in Ohio, you get about a week for firearm and about 2 weeks for a bow. Except for things like crows, which you're allowed to hunt anytime. And no, seriously.
They're pests.
I follow small birds. My neighbor feeds pigeons, and I'm like, right there. And I don't want to cause friction between me and my neighbor, but
It's right there. He's attracting them for you.
yeah, he's chumming the waters. And I've got a couple of air rifles. I could very quietly take them out.
When I was a kid in Ohio, certain animals were considered varmints.
Yep.
And they're like crows. For example, I think in those days you got 50 cents per crows. And by the way, you only had to deliver the feet.
Right.
So you didn't have to deliver the whole crow. And
when I was a kid, my dad and I went down for shooting pigeons in the city of Cincinnati. We were shooting on Fountain Square, and the city was banned. Like, cool. But you had to use 22 shorts.
you hit a pigeon with a 22 short. Okay.
You could do.
You know what a CB cap is?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Doubt you can get them anymore.
Yeah. I haven't seen that for a while.
A rat shot.
That you can get.
You can get rat shot. Cooper had something on the front porch today, so I looked at it on the rug and looked at it, tried to figure out what it was. Looked kind of like a bird. Man, those have had a big open mouth like this with like a whole bunch of tiny teeth on the bottom, top of the body. It looked kind of scary. It was a bat.
A bat. Nice.
Oh,
Cooper brought us a bat for Halloween.
so they carry rabies, don't they?
Yeah.
That's the downside of Foofer. Yeah, Foofer, you know, he's got to get his rabies. We got a rabies, de-rabies Foofer. He prowls too much outside.
I think this year the deers had something. And they were telling all the hunters to be careful.
Well, they actually, some of them actually carried COVID. There are a number of animals that carry COVID.
It wasn't COVID. It was something else. And
I think they're worried about the ticks, something about the ticks or something this year. But
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I don't encourage the deer mainly because of traffic. I mean, we got a thoroughfare in front of it, and the deer's just going to get run over and going to hurt somebody.
Probably the deer also.
I don't know. I've seen some deer get hit by cars and just get up and look at you like, why did you hit me? And walk off.
Yes, that's nice. Steve got total his focus gone.
Yeah. Yeah, my ex, she had a little Pontiac thing, and she hit a full-size buck, and that buck just destroyed the car. And she said it stood there and looked at her like she was stupid and walked off.
And when you see a deer, you need to slow down. I'm sorry. If it's not close, I don't care. You just get to where you're creeping along. It's bad.
Especially if it's a buck. You don't want to mess with the bucks.
Yeah, I think they're all pretty solid. When I was riding motorcycles, the first piece of advice my dad gave me was, don't hit dogs. Because they're hard.
Because they're hard.
And cats just kind of squish out of the way and try to avoid them. But it's a choice between a dog and a cat. Take out the cat.
Yeah, go for the cat. Yeah.
And yeah, deer are
They're solid.
solid.
Yeah.
They got a little footy.
I heard of a guy who he hit a deer. He thought it was dead. He put it in the back of his pickup truck. He had just stunned it. And it got up and it was ticked off, and it was trying to figure out where it was, and it kicked the crap out of the pickup truck. The bed had like thousands and thousands of dings where it was just kicking the crap out of it, trying to get up and get out. It kicked out the back window.
Nice.
Yeah. So the moral of that story is if you think it's dead, make sure it's dead. Because it probably ain't dead. I saw one up on the highway. It must have been a buck. It was laying on the side of the road, but its head was gone. So somebody hit it, realized it had a nice set of antlers, probably took the head.
One of the things you want to give a wide berth, of course, you don't have them in your part of the country, but north of you, in ways you do, and that's a moose.
Moose.
Because a moose will demolish anything smaller than an 18-wheeler semi.
Well, they're big and solid too. So.
And they typically weigh way more than a deer does.
Mm.
Those little white tails you have down in Ohio, those things are not very heavy. If you clip one at going 75 miles an hour, that becomes a momentum transfer interaction as we say in physics.
Mhm.
And it's basically a matter of how much momentum and how much energy gets transferred and where it's applied to the car.
I hit a fox. Actually, the fox hit me. It was running across the road and it hit the side of the car, and it got up and ran off.
No.
I was like, oh, okay. Now the good thing is it didn't damage the car because my car is a big, solid, heavy car too. But I was like, I was watching it in the rearview mirror. I'm like, huh, that's neat. Bam! Oh, really? And it gets up and runs off, and I'm like, okay. Guess I don't have to report that one. The way he hit me, I actually was afraid that there was going to be a big dent in the side of my car. Because I felt it.
I was driving back from, Mid-Ohio Raceway, from Columbus, basically. And I'm in my boss's truck. He's got a big white Ford Explorer. And he was just too tired to drive. And okay. I'm humming down the highway. And I saw a deer come out into the road. And I swerved. And the deer spun around. And I was pretty sure I hit it. I pulled over, and the side of the truck was pretty dusty, and there was a clean spot where its butt just dragged down the side of the car. Didn't dent anything. The deer wasn't hurt at all. Probably just angry. And my boss was that. What happened?
We've got a new specialty cleaning service, the butt deer cleaning service.
Yeah. I was driving a white Ford Escort at one point across Texas. And I was bored and tired, and I picked up a hitchhiker just to try to stay awake. Mexican kid, he didn't speak a word of English, I didn't speak any Spanish. And we're just humming along. And I see something beside the road. Everybody in Texas is 85. That's absolutely floored for this Escort. And I get close, and it's a coyote jumped into the road. I mean, it was a suicidal coyote. There's nobody behind me for miles, nobody ahead of me for miles. Coyote, bam. Didn't do any damage to the car, but it killed the coyote. And the kid starts crossing himself and praying and trying to open the door. I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, I'm not going back. If it's just hurt and angry, I ain't getting near it.
Yeah.
And he wanted out. Okay. And we had been driving for a mile or an hour. I have no idea where we were. Hope we got another ride.
So you were propagating religion out there.
Apparently.
What's going on, Mr. Vicente?
Here, had a lot of work.
Ah,
I was
What's
planning
the-
to go to the library, but I have a dinner and was too tight the time, so I'm here
I understand.
until 6:30.
So what's cooking?
What's what?
Cooking. What project are you focused on
I'm,
now?
I'm still working in the location thing. It's getting better and better. Now
Good.
I replaced the GPS for radio communication indoor, and it's working really fine.
What GPSs are you using?
Three bucks from Asian sources.
And
from Express.
you're doing a GPS lock inside the house?
Yes, they work inside.
Huh. I wonder why they don't work inside my house.
I've got some pretty
Do you
cheap
have a metal roof?
little round USB. I'll try them.
Let me show it. Yes.
They work
Yeah,
like,
if you have an ordinary wooden roof with non-metallic shingles, there's no reason why it shouldn't.
Well, I mean, I haven't tried, I honestly haven't tried the GPS.
Is it the GPS?
Yeah, it looks like the ones I've got.
Has the antenna in the back.
Yep.
Okay.
It's very, very cheap. But you need to go outside first for several minutes to let it configure you for the location.
Mm.
And after that, you can use it anywhere around. It lock in very fast.
I haven't tried these GPSs I've got in the apartment. At the old house, they just would not work inside. But the old house, no, I'm pretty sure it was a wood roof. I mean, the house itself was metal, but I think the roof was wood.
yeah. I picked up 2 of these things. I don't remember where, but they were under $20 each. They've got
I think Adafruit has some GPS that are very, very sensitive,
Yeah,
but they are expensive.
yeah. Well, I bought these, well before COVID, when we were playing around with with the hub wheel robot. And I just couldn't get them to work inside the house. They worked outside. They took forever to get a lock, but they worked. Yeah.
So what is the minimum number of satellites you need to have in order to give you a position lock?
Well, technically, you need 3.
Yeah.
More is better. More, 3 will not give you a very good lock. It will give you 15 meters, maybe.
But the pulse I was using only need one satellite, just one. Is the time of the system.
Yeah.
So maybe that is why it was working inside the house, because it only needs one.
You're not using them for position, you're using them for time lock.
Just the time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's Ray.
Hey, Ray.
Hey guys, how you doing?
So is that a screenshot of your background there, or?
Because you're flashing.
There's Ray.
You're in there, Ray. And it says Ray's iPhone. There's another clue. We're on to you, guy.
I just thought it was funny. It was like last week I turned around, took a snapshot, like, oh, I'm gonna fake it out next time.
So where are you actually, really?
I'm in Idaho.
Okay.
Let me get rid of my background.
There he is.
You need to see the Idaho Potato Museum for sure while you're out there.
No. This is the real background. We got 1 laser, 2 laser, 3 laser, and walk in the garage, and there's another laser.
Wow.
So this is a customer called Wooden, and it is WUDN, and they sell some cell phone accessories, chargers, flasks, stick-on wallets, a lot of stuff that is from veneer wood that is 3M glued, stickied to other stuff. So he gave me a case for my phone, and the case looks like an emerald. I don't know if you can see it very well. It's almost like an emerald marble looking at the top, and it's wood at the bottom, and it's a black rubber case, so it fits my phone. But they have stuff for all kinds of other phones and accessories. See if I can switch to the other phone or the camera. Maybe not.
Should be able to. Of course, it's an iPhone. Who knows?
Yeah.
So it's basic laser engraving stuff, but this is only 2 inches, and in my opinion, that's some pretty amazing engraving we did. So give you an idea of the size of my fingernail to that, and you can see the feathers in the artwork, in the arrow that's Hawkeye. It's just engraved onto a piece of scrap wood.
Wow.
But, it's fun, interesting stuff. I'll probably get in trouble if I show too much of their business. So, but,
You're like, take the lasers out of here. We don't want them anymore.
yeah, take those lasers, darn you, Ray.
You ready?
So yeah, their business it did pretty well first quarter, but second quarter did better. Third quarter this year, it was just amazing. And fourth quarter they're rolling into, they're overwhelmed and turning down businesses. They have been in business for 5 years, but it's just this year they saw a first quarter slump, and then fourth quarter is just almost too much to bear. So they decided to go ahead and get all 3 of their existing machines cleaned up and rebuilt, and then the new machine, fourth machine brought in, and then probably around April or March they're going to order another machine and move into a bigger facility. So all the new machines are getting these really pretty controllers, and we tore out all the old controllers, and so this is a set of the old controllers. The old controller does not have any LEDs on the actual box for the control box, and then for the display it's just 4 lines of 16 character text, and that's pretty horrible compared to turn this on and it's full of color graphics. So yeah, it shows X, Y, Z position, and then speed, power, any file that's currently in the memory. So I'm sure you guys have seen this kind of stuff before with me. So,
Yep.
But that's what I'm doing again this week. This customer has basically been 1 rebuild per day. Travel on Sunday, travel on Friday, and then 1 new machine. So it's going pretty good,
So does he do the designs, or do third parties do the designs?
Third-party design, in-house design, and customer logos and customer designs. So hospitality is a word. Like there's a company that just ordered a very large number of pieces, a number of parts, and they dictated what logo would go onto it, what the kind of wood, and stuff like that. So it's pretty neat.
So this is mostly on wood, or do they do metal as well?
Well, the name of their business is Wooden. So everything is wood.
Okay.
But we had these little American flags. They applied these onto the back of something. I don't even know what it went onto. Let's see. There's their logo, their company logo.
Cool.
WDN. It's a neat company. This is the small production room. They've got some parts here and there. They've got a small assembly area right here, and a bunch of stuff going on. But like I said, I'll probably get in trouble if I go too far. So, this is just, these are my machines, and I don't think anybody cares so much about me showing off my machines.
Oh, probably just how many of them they've got, of course.
I've got a couple customers, one specifically in near Columbus. They don't want anybody to know what equipment they have. No machines, no support tools. They don't want anybody to know what they've got, because to them, that's a trade secret of how their manufacturing is done. And it all starts with what tools are you using. So
I can see that.
yeah, I mean, you start telling people what you've got, and they're like, oh, well, then you've got to be making it this way or that way.
I could do that. I've got one of those.
I could do that. Yeah. Well, my customer up in Columbus, he is probably, since I met him, he has closed his storefront. They're exclusively online now, and they probably 5 times their profit margin. So since I met them, and their manufacturing process is much healthier. So they used to have a lot of sawdust, and now they have very little bit of sawdust, but a lot of controlled exhaust on mini laser machines.
That room that you're in kind of sort of looks like a smaller version of your demo room.
About a fourth the size, yeah. So, what you guys got going on there?
Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, it looks like you got some stuff going on.
There's a thing here, and it's called a robot, but
I got one of those.
Yeah, it's got the wrong software loaded on it, so it just goes forward and backwards right now.
Yeah, I had one of those that it wasn't working so well, and the wheels kept coming off or something.
Wow.
There you go.
And it makes pretty lights. I don't know if you were around or not. 3 months ago, 4 months ago, when I was doing the narrow network robot with the 2 ultrasonic sensors, and it didn't have any kind of direction of anything. It was just trying to figure out stuff based on the network, on the artificial network. And it worked pretty well, but not perfect. Well, I was going to scale it to this, which was much closer to the original version of that robot, when I realized This thing has an Uno on it. The Uno doesn't have enough memory for the network. So,
You just do a mega.
well, yeah, I would have to do a mega and then change the motor drivers because the motor driver is on the board. And then I would have to get more power, but I'm going to fix it. It's going to be fine. But what I had was the non-artificial intelligent way to do it with a whole bunch of if statements and reading the two ultrasonics and compares and doing it the non-artificial network way. But I think what I actually loaded was my test program that makes it so I can make sure that it was actually going forward and backward. Oops.
Oops.
Oops. Go forward. Go backwards.
Uno, just control it and offload the protection to something else.
Well, that's actually what I was thinking, was they've got a, instead of having the lights, they've got a Bluetooth module.
Oh, okay.
Connected to the Bluetooth, and the Bluetooth said, you know, here's the readings, and have the ESP32 do the artificial network and just say turn. But that's a matter of, I've got to take the artificial intelligent network program, and now I've got to split it into two separate programs and add some Bluetooth in on both sides. So it's going to be a little bit of work. But that was my thought. Was because I do have a Bluetooth module, I can do that. I should be able to do that.
Actually, the thing looks pretty intimidating front view.
It looks like a little bug.
Very short version of Blue Wally
Yeah.
with no arms.
That's kind of neat. Two of the cameras or the two cameras are lagging.
Yep.
My other weird issue with this, is it this one? Yeah. So I've got some set screws. I put set screws in this, and I lost my set screws again. My set screws are gone. And I know I put set screws in it. So now I gotta put set screws in it and put glue on it, I guess. Keep my set screws.
You can always use some of that thread lock stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty effective.
I tend to use set screws and fingernail polish. That way I can remove it later.
Yeah, you put the thread lock stuff in, it is coming off. Are they brass screws or?
I don't know.
Probably steel.
It's probably steel, yeah. I bought this one used. I didn't pay very much for it. And when I bought it, it was missing the set screws. So either the set screws I got for it are too small and fell out, or the thing just is stripped and it's not really holding them in place. So right now, that means I've got two set screws somewhere laying on the floor in the house because I can't find them.
Well, you take a magnet and you go around and you find them.
And you give up and you order all new set screws from eBay.
Yeah, I've got a whole 10 of them, so.
Is it metric or?
How deep is the hole that you put the set screw down into?
I don't know.
You can get set screws in different lengths, but
Yeah.
you can also put like one short set screw behind the other, and the one set screw will lock the other one in place.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
You know,
Are
on
these-
some of our timing belts and timing gears, we'll have a threaded hole that it's darn near ½ inch deep, and it'll easily handle 2 set screws down in there,
Right.
and put one on top of the other.
This
Are
is,
these slotted set screws? Or are they hex set screws or Allen or what?
it's Allen. I mean, I could stick anything. Can't really see it, can you?
Depth of focus is a little bit of a problem. Yeah.
Is one of them in there?
No, that's the craziest thing. Both of them are gone, which probably means that I put the wrong size set screen in it.
What diameter is that large bore?
Oh.
The hub on the side of the wheel. What diameter is that? Do you have a lot of space for the set screw?
Oh, I don't know.
Looks like about 4
Yeah, there you go. There we go.
I got one of you, Steve. That's the only tool I got. Steve doesn't have. And I don't think that'll last very long. He sees that.
Let's see. What is that, 20? A millimeter?
Is it radius or diameter?
That's the outside.
That's the outside.
So you're right at 3/4 of an inch.
The inside hole would be a whole lot harder to do. Four maybe. And
So how many set screws are there? Just 2 per hub?
just two, yeah. The set screw is a whole lot smaller.
Okay. New set screws and a little bit of this. Fair enough polish.
Any particular color there, Ray?
Oh, red.
That's his favorite color. Yeah.
Well, it's because my machines are red. That's why we use red.
That's his fingernails before you leave, yeah.
It looks like there is a set screw in there. There is, there's a set screw in there. This is way down in there.
Figured there had to be one, otherwise it would just spin on the axle.
This is way down in there.
So the axle has a flat on it?
Yeah. Yeah, the axle does have one flat.
So one of the set screws goes on a flat and the other one doesn't.
Right, they're 90 degrees apart.
Can't really see it, but there's a flat there. Trust me, there's a flat there.
Honestly, the thread on the light bulb, that looks English to me. Most metric stuff that small is a finer thread.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying that it's probably metric because the company that makes this is a Chinese company.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, I would assume metric also, but that looks like a 632 screw.
632 thread for that size screw is pretty coarse.
No, it's got lug bolts also. The hub is held on with 2 screws.
I'm just assuming that it's metric
Yeah,
because of the company that it comes from, but it's hard to say. I mean,
cut that back off and measure the outside of the motor shaft.
outside of the motor shaft.
It's an 1/8 inch.
Mm,
You're not getting it good reading.
Yeah, you're not perpendicular to the shaft.
stuff. Three even. Yeah, it looks pretty even too.
Okay.
3 millimeter?
That's against.
3.17 or 3?
It's a little tiny bit over 3.
What's a tiny bit? 0.17?
You have to calibrate an eyeball for that.
Yeah, it's
3.3.
3.3 maybe.
Okay, so 3.17 is 1/8 inch millimeter. 3.17 millimeter is 1/8 inch.
That's against the flat. So
No, don't include the flat.
if we don't include the flat, then it's a lot closer to 4.
Okay. So you got a 4 millimeter shaft with a
Which is
arc segment flat, yeah.
it's actually more like 3.9 if we don't do. So it's 4.
Good 4. I got a whole bunch of set screws. You'd be happy to, I'll be happy, fine if you want to stop by. And, we'll figure out fix it.
Of set screws, but I probably just pulled the wrong ones out. And seeing as how one's already down in there pretty deep.
Did you put both of those in?
I put 2 set screws in, but I didn't realize that one was in there as that far deep. So maybe I didn't do anything at all for one.
I think one set screw for that mechanism right there is insufficient. I would say the engineering is poor. 2 flat spots or something.
Hey, Leroy, I've got some set screws that are 4 millimeter by 3 millimeter long. I've got some that are 4 millimeter diameter by like 8 millimeters long. So it might be that you just need a longer
one.
The set screws are smaller. The 4 millimeter diameter is the axle shaft. The set screws are 3 millimeter or even smaller than that.
Okay, well, I got a whole assortment of them.
Yeah, I bought a little pack full of set screws. I may have just grabbed the wrong ones and or didn't realize there was a set screw in there and didn't actually do anything.
If we used like a 1 inch long M3 screw, do you think it would go through the hub and and go in place? That way you could use a normal Allen wrench. It'd be a larger size. You'd use all the thread that was available.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to offer another option.
Just weld it on the shaft. Be done with it.
Pull one out.
Well, I want to be able to take it apart too someday, right? Because you'll get bored and you'll sell it to me.
Yeah. Your son would love another project, won't he?
Never know.
I've had at one time, I think Ray may have ended up with one of these in the deal, but at one time I had 3 or 4 of these robots and I kept parts. And I actually have other wheels, so I might just be able to pull the other wheel out and see if it's got the sensors in it. Use those. I just can't believe I put sensors in the stinking thing. That's the frustrating part. You put something, you do something, and then it goes away. Frustrating.
Fan over Ray stopped.
Yeah, Ray's froze.
It's an iPhone.
Good thing he's got some Microsoft experience. He can IPL it.
IPL.
Interrupt program load.
Interrupt the power.
That's an IBM term.
Yeah.
Goes right.
Because I'm doing something else on my phone.
Yeah. That's an old mainframe term. IPL. We had, what was it? It wasn't IPL, it was something else. On the submarine, when the program didn't work or the computer, it's basically turn off the power. Interrupt power or something. It was an IP something. Can't remember what it was. But that was basically it. You go and you go, well, IP whatever. Kill everything. And then people would go, oh, now we gotta load the program again.
Just, you're a customer. You're more important right now. What's
I
on?
was just gonna tell you that on the camera, I got you Cameron some, really moist chicken breast tenders
That's awesome.
and big potato wedges, to see if one stack.
Okay,
So unless you want something else.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Perfect laptop, under the car seat. That's what it is.
I'm finding more and more people who have these laptops, that laptop, and they use them out in the field. They do all kinds of stuff with them.
And if I lose it, it's fine.
If it falls off the top of a scaffolding, oh well, a $60 laptop. I know. But you're Steve, so.
Have a matched pair of it. I have 2 for $60. It has the worst keyboard of anything I've ever used. Oh,
Thought I had a pretty bad camera too.
yeah.
But it was $30. That's like the Bofang radios, the Bofang hand radio. Those things are just horrible radios. Yeah, but they're $20.
Yeah, I bought 4 of them.
I own a few of those as well.
Yeah,
My fan's spinning. My fan's spinning now.
everybody owns at least one, and most people own 2 or 3.
I think I own several.
If no one wants to admit that they own them, so. We all know that you own those, but nobody will admit it. Is that a Harbor Freight?
I don't know. Probably so.
Probably so.
Hard to tell me. But Steve doesn't have it, so yeah. I'm king of the hill today.
He probably just doesn't have it with him.
Yeah, well, that's a given there. But I don't think that'll last long. I think in future meetings that I need to bring a new tool. I think I'll have one. He's not gonna let that stand.
Harbor Freight had a digital one for a while for like $10.
Aldi had digital ones for a while, for 6. How about like 5 or 6 of them? How could you not?
Yeah.
So are those metric or English?
Little button, they switch.
The digital ones switch. This one's metric. I think Harbor Freight was selling one that was something like this for $2.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a little bit longer, actually.
I've got a, what is it for you
Is that
guys?
a metric dial caliper?
Yeah. Can't see it.
Yeah. My employees keep messing up my digital calipers, and I'm gonna have to buy those.
How are they messing up your digital calipers?
They realize that the battery's dead, so they pop the cap off the battery holder, and then they lose the caps. And then it doesn't matter if you put a battery in there or not. You can't get it to stay working.
Okay.
What you got there, Jim?
That was the question.
What is it? That's a sump pump thingy.
Yeah.
The sump pump water monitor.
Yeah.
Running on 3 18650s.
I have,
Is that a Raspberry Pi back there?
Yeah, the case looks like it's a Raspberry Pi.
The blue thing is a battery
Yeah.
case, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the blue part is 3 18650s. Well, you can tell that the hose fitting is 1.5 inches.
Well, it's connected to something via USB.
I think that's the power supply,
That the power supply.
the battery charger.
that's where there's station 1 and station 2. So it looks like he has remote stations, temperature, and then the other one's humidity.
Is this?
Are they using a humidity sensor to see if the water level's at a certain height?
Okay, here's one part of it.
That is the blue. The blue thing is a temperature and humidity sensor. The thing that's got the antenna on it, that's an NRF 2401. And the microcontroller is a Arduino Nano.
Okay, so he's got a nano and a nerf communicator. And,
An NRF 2401.
and we know he's got 2 different temperature humidity stations. So
That's the blue thing.
okay. So there's another one somewhere else.
Yeah. I forget what the blue thing is actually called.
Hey guys, my battery's about to die, so I gotta get going.
Oh, don't be a stranger.
I'm trying out.
Don't be, as-
Take care.
Steve, give me a call. I'll talk to you Friday, Saturday, something like that.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Later.
bye.
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 This is a project from, a new member that's starting to show up, one of my old students.
Yeah, that's a Raspberry Pi,
Okay.
that black thing, or the case. I'm almost sure that's a Raspberry Pi.
And he's got a little, breadboard going here.
Sensor cable going down into the sun.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
No, not into the sun.
What kind of sensor would it be?
Oh,
Oh,
the gray wire for conductors.
I think he said something about, ultrasonic transducer. I think he's got an ultrasonic transducer. Because, if he's going down into the sump, he's gonna be doing level. Because you're not gonna be measuring temperature and humidity down there. Except just for giggles. And there's his level. Oh, look, that's what that is. That's level. He's watching a sump level. This is relatively similar to what Frank did one time.
Yeah, and it's only running twice a day. Doesn't have much water going in there. Ran once between October 24th and 25th.
Looks like the 26th, he was busy as can be.
Maybe that's when it rained.
Yeah. So he was one of my students, so he said it not to be normal, Okay, so look at this. Is that a Bluetooth?
No, that's an NRF.
NRF? Okay.
Almost positive about
Yeah, we like the NRF thing. It did a good job. That one you had did an excellent job.
that. That might
Okay.
be an ESP32 or an ESP8266. It might be. But I think that's a NRF 2401.
I did notice the NRF somewhere. Yeah. And what's this guys he's plugged into?
Like the blue thing?
This.
That's the, so you remember the NRF 2401s were kind of unstable. You either had to put caps on them or filter your power better. That's the power filtering thing. So the extra,
It plugs into it.
yeah.
Oh, and that plugs into the.
So those are extra caps, and the voltage regulator brings the power up to, I'm pretty sure that's what that is.
Okay. That's node number one.
So somewhere he's got another node that probably looks very similar to that.
Yeah. So he actually did something with some of this stuff. That's interesting to me. Somebody actually did something, man. Implemented an application. Oh, okay, here's his, temperature, his temperature. And then humidity.
So that blue thing is a DHT11.
Yeah, humidity sensor.
Temperature and humidity sensor.
Yeah.
And it is the worst one of the DHT series.
But it puts out characters.
Is that the 11 or the 22?
The 11 is the blue one, the 22 is the white one. And the 22 is a better sensor.
But you know, if you need accuracy when you're just checking out a room, you know.
Okay, how can you have 13,000 unread messages?
Oh, you never delete a message.
I don't delete messages either. I've got stuff going back to 2004. But I only have like 20 unread messages.
And yeah, you don't have any messages? Is that what you're saying? 2 or 3 messages?
I have started deleting obvious spam and sale flyers because
Yeah.
they're just not useful. But
They should have seen where I cleaned it up.
Actually, I have a lot more unread messages than I should not have expected.
so the DHT11s are cheaper than the 22s, but the 22s are actually a better sensor. And they're almost drop-in replaceable. They're almost, you change one line of code and it's done.
Yeah, it's just, it's pumping out characters, you know?
Well, the hardware wise, they just have 4 pins, of which only 3 I think are active.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
One's ground, one's 5 volts, and I think
The signal line.
one of the middle lines is the signal line.
Actually, yeah, it's got 4 pins, but one of the pins even says not connected on it when you look at the schematic. Which make any sense? Why is it there? But
It fits into a 4-pin socket, and it holds it mechanically more stable. As I recall, they're about $2 a piece in volume, because I would get trays of them for my class, and there'd be 100 in a tray, and they weren't very expensive.
yeah, they're cheap enough. The 22s aren't expensive. There's a new one too that I forget what it is. It's 31 or something. It's supposed to be even better.
What is the difference between the 22 and the 31?
It's just a stability issue, I think. The 22 is a little bit more stable. I started using, when was it? It's got humidity, temperature, humidity, and pressure. Did a BMP 30 maybe? I started using those sensors because they're a little bit better.
What I'd like to find is a radon sensor, so that I can put that in my, I've got a radon abatement system in my house in Milford, but it doesn't have a readout on it. All it does is just take the vapor out of the sump pump. Well, the sump pump has a seal on the top of it, and it takes the vapor out of the sump pump and blows it into a column that goes up the side of the house.
I'm seeing stuff as cheap as $35
For radon?
radon.
Really?
Yep.
Where's that, Steve?
Called a Red Track 3. I Googled radon sensor Arduino.
What is radon? But,
Radon is one of the noble gases. It's a little bit radioactive.
yeah.
$30 on Amazon.
Does it have a, I don't know what I'm thinking. It's a Geiger counter, right?
Well,
It talks about the how much radon gas you got in the air. Radon is radioactive. A lot of the radon you see around is coming from coal plants.
So you
They're the
need,
biggest emitter of radon gas.
but it's a glass tube that's the sensor.
It can be. Effectively, it's a tiny little cloud chamber, and it detects the radiation.
So it's a Geiger counter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
you can definitely get Geiger counters for the Arduino.
except that I don't think it takes the high voltage that a typical Geiger counter takes. The deal about radon is that it turns out if you're exposed to a certain level of radon, like if you live in a basement or have a shop or something in the basement where you spend a lot of time there, it's as bad as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day.
Okay. Well, there are, I mean, I Googled like Steve did, and there are a bunch of different various sensors all in different price ranges, clear up to $100.
Yeah, well, that'll be a project for me this winter when I'm in Milford.
Just gas sensors, just normal, ordinary. That's why I was trying to figure, what is this thing
I'm
actually?
curious about this one. That isn't something that looks like you can tie to an Arduino, but it's a long-term alpha track radon detector kit that can't be sold to New Jersey residents.
Well, that's
They
interesting.
don't want them to find out, or they've already
No.
found.
Yeah, I can believe that, having lived for 14 years in New Jersey.
Well, spark plug even makes a Geiger counter.
Oh, yeah.
They're talking about alpha. The Geiger counter's not going to detect the alpha. If it's alpha emitter, that's work there.
Well, it's particularly bad if it's a gas, so that you inhale it and it gets in your lungs.
Thing with a Geiger detector, the glass tube would be enough to keep the alpha of them coming through.
Yep.
And because it's a noble gas, it's inert, so you can't detect it with chemical stuff.
Leaving.
Good night.
Take care. Take care.
Bye. See you next week.
Okay,
Bye
Right.
bye.
hi.
Here's one on Amazon that's highly rated, $89.99. Home radon detector, portable radon meter. Electricity long and short-term home radon monitor. Battery powered, easy to use. Only $90. Okay.
How much is this? Here's one that's on DigiKey that's, looks like a normal sensor, but I don't see how much it is. It says pin 1, go to Raspberry Pi, pin 3, go to, it's an I2C sensor. But how much is it? I want to know. I need to know how much this is.
This one in Amazon's got, it's got all the stuff. Let's see, let me go into the chat and I'll dump a link out there to everyone.
Of course, 0 in stock. Request a quote. Oh, there we go. So probably around $17.
There's a link to Amazon to the comprehensive unit that I was referring to.
You're talking about the home radon detector for $89.95 there, Jim?
Yep.
Okay, got it.
It does long-term evaluation too, which I find cute. So yeah, I would read the notes on that one.
Well, in some parts of the country, Southern Ohio being one of them, radon is a fairly serious matter.
Says here, yeah, no doubt. We're in the area.
I will, how am I going to get this from my phone to? I'll post another one in the forums that I found.
Okay,
It's a Honeywell sensor. It's an I2C sensor. There is a library for the Raspberry Pi, and it's $23 on Mauser.
okay.
So
That's the sensor alone, but then you have to put together
yeah,
some sort of a external electronics to report it out.
it looked to me like from the DigiKey website that DigiKey doesn't have this sensor anymore, but it looked to me like they had the pinout and the wiring diagram, and it was as simple as connecting like 4 wires.
Yeah.
So
You're on howmuchsnow.com.
no.
Because there's a whole article on hooking an Arduino up to a plug-in unit.
This is a Honeywell. Oh, to an actual room. And this is probably just a sensor that's in that unit.
Yeah. It is not the-
So you're going to put the link of that in the forums?
I'll put it in the forums when I get home because I won't
Okay.
My phone's acting weird right now. I tried to connect to the Zoom client and it said no.
Really?
Yeah.
howmuchsnow.com/Arduino/radon.
And you want it in the chat?
In the chat.
Okay.
Oh. And it's HTTP, which I thought was kind of interesting. Nobody's HTTP anymore.
Not S?
Not it.
Huh. That's strange.
Even my non-secure website has HTTPS.
Yeah, I have all valid certificates. And
I've got valid certificates, but I wouldn't exactly call what I've posted up there. It's being hosted on a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, it went bye-bye and
There are definitely options for you though, Art. It's not.
Arduino dot.
howmuchsnow.com/Arduino/radon
Dash radon / radon.
internet slash.
Internet slash. Slashy slash.
Does that look like it?
It looks like it. Somebody click on that, see if it works.
Okay.
We'll let Art be the guinea pig.
Bringing it up. Yeah, it says monitoring radon gas levels. Whole bunch of Adobe images aren't coming up because they don't have Adobe Flash Player installed.
That's an old website.
I was going to say this is. Well, it says 2012.
That's like prehistoric now.
So
Yeah.
I just opened it. My phone said, "Do you want to view the simplified version?" And I said, "Yes." So it just did all of that stuff.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for the links.
I'll put the link to the DigiKey and the Mauser sensor later too. So you'll have plenty of links to look at.
Okay. Well, I got a half a dozen empty Arduinos sitting there on my desk in Milford, so get a sensor and hook things up.
Yeah.
Put one of those down in my storage room in the lower level and monitor what my radon levels are like. Since they've sealed up the sump pump, and I had this done about 3-4 years ago, and but they don't put a monitor on it. All they do is just perform the abatement, which consists of taking all the vapor off the sump pump well and pumping it out into the air above the roof line.
So put your area up there by the exhaust and see how it does.
Okay.
Old mining trick.
Well, dead canary the next day, not good.
Not good. If it keels over right now, you run, you're dead.
I put the links in the meeting notes at the bottom, meeting announcement at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go to that.
Somewhere in my stack of sensors and whatnot, I've got a lot of the gas sensors, but I don't have anything that does radar.
Yeah, the gas sensors don't.
Yeah.
Because it's inert. It's one of the no-nos.
Yeah.
Either on our guy,
Yeah.
radon and xenon. In order.
The one, the CO2 sensor I've got, I hate that thing because it had to be calibrated. And you know how you calibrate it? Against a known source of CO2.
Oh. Well, it'd be relatively easy to get 100% CO2. Just good thing of Dr. Pepper. No, seriously, CO2 is heavy. You can put it in the bottom of a container and just pour CO2 bubbles in. That'll get you up to probably 95%.
Big first step.
Well, but Dr. Pepper is much busier.
Oh,
The other stuff,
You must have had CO2 sensors on the submarine, didn't you, Leroy?
we actually had big scrubbers. So I can't say that there was actually a sensor.
I mean, there isn't much CO2 in the air. And on a submarine, I would imagine they'd want to keep it even lower than normal. It's like 1.5% in normal atmosphere.
But it's heavy.
Yeah.
So it would go down to the bilges, or it should go down to the bilges. But we had huge CO2 scrubbers. So, and those things ran all the time. I mean, you've got 150 people in a tube. Yeah, there's some CO2 going on.
That one guy,
Right, that one.
so to speak.
What are we having for dinner? Beans. Oh, don't give them to him. Yeah. I mean, the bilges had some sensors in them, but I don't know if there were CO2 sensors down there or not.
I've just used some of this stuff. It's pretty cool. Mine looks exactly like that, actually. That'll hold like 3 wires. It's channel. Yeah. Plastic channel. It's pretty cool. I had some running down my basement and it looked tacky as hell because I do it. Now I went down the wall. And I got 3 wires in. And they have corners that go turn left, and they have corners that go this way, and that way, and that way. They're a good kit, not too expensive. Cost me $100 to do the basement from one end to the other for my house. And my wrap went out. Had to reboot it. That's after about 5 years. They went dead, they had to reboot it.
Stuff happens. I restart most of my network stuff about every 6 months. We have a power outage that did it. If we don't, I get a power outage.
So is there a rule about what do you start up first? I got a router and I got a bridge and I got a WAP.
I noticed the bridge should start first
Okay.
because it's almost certainly DHCP from your internet provider. And then the router,
The bridge is going through the router. It doesn't see the
bridge for what? I'm sorry, to me, a bridge is a thing provided by your internet provider that gives you internet access.
No, I've got a bridge that brings in a bunch of not too many
You
connections.
mean like a few?
It's like instead of a hub, I've got a bridge. I got
Okay.
and I bridge to my. I think I'm bridged to my hubs.
Okay. So
I got too many wires.
start up your internet provider first
Yeah.
and then work back.
Yeah, I would say internet provider and my router and then my bridge.
Yeah.
Because I know because the bridge needs an IP address and DHCP is not going to be up until the router does.
Right.
Okay, so
But the router needs to give an IP address from your modem or whatever you've got providing your internet.
but it really has nothing to do with. I can start it up because if you should boot it by itself, it's going to have a DHCP server and whoever comes up is going to.
Right, but if the internet isn't up yet, it won't know what the DNS entries are. So it'll just use itself, and then your machines come up. And even though everything should work, it doesn't because the machine doesn't know how to get DNS. So when you go to Google, it doesn't work, but if you go to 217.84. whatever, It will.
Unless you've got your DNS set inside your router as a static
Yeah.
DNS.
Yeah, but most people don't. But if you want to set one of your DNSs to 8.8.8.8, that's Google, it's free, it works. I've never seen it go down.
Yeah, if that goes down, you probably got bigger problems.
Yeah,
I used to have, I don't know if the service is even still around, OpenDNS.
it is.
I used to use them a lot, so my router was set for OpenDNS servers.
I'm discovering things now. You taught me that I could set a port to the DHCP port number to a particular MAC address. And then I noticed that was associated with a device. Okay. Could be, it could be the router 2.4 gigahertz, and it could be the router 5 gigahertz. And then when I tried to set it to my WAP, to the device off of my WAP, I was going to hard code it, and it was showing up as a hardware connection. And I said, well, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, it shouldn't have any.
But it doesn't see the router, it just sees the device on the WAP. And it doesn't have control of.
Right. It doesn't know what, you have a physical wire going to the WAP.
Yeah.
So any connection to the WAP, it sees as the wire. Yeah, it's coming across it. It doesn't know whether it's a switch or a wireless access.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm learning a little bit about network. Pretty cool.
Routing is fun.
And I inadvertently learned how to set the name to something, and I haven't figured that out totally yet. It's combined with
The MAC address.
well, you can put the MAC address there and say, I want it to be this
Host name.
You can set the, I want to have that IP address. You put MAC address and IP address, and I think you can put the name there.
You can.
You can? Okay.
And
But it still retains the MAC address and all that stuff.
the MAC address is part of the hardware, and you generally can't change it.
Yeah.
If a thing doesn't have a host name, when it tries to get an IP address, if the thing handing out the IP address says, you should also be known as this host name, it will accept that, and then it gets the IP address. And regardless, if you're using the router for your DNS, and it has another upstream DNS server, that host name should work for that device.
What if we duplicate host names? Does that get
You can't
counted?
do that.
They won't let you do that.
It will let you do that, but you can't do that.
Don't do that.
Right.
There's a difference when you can't do that and don't do that.
Yeah, I would have a whole room full of machines with the same name,
Well,
and it's, well, with your,
It's bad.
when you're cloning machines.
oh, yeah.
So then none of the machines can talk to anything else until you give them a unique host name.
Basically, it's because they all collide with each other.
Well,
Yeah.
But my router, or the router provided by that one company,
The evil.
if my device, I think you're right, all my devices have a host name, but if it doesn't, I can set a host name inside or I can set a name for it. I've never tried it to
And then you can ping by name.
I've never tried that.
Yeah.
That's
If you
interesting.
duplicate names, you can cause trouble.
Right, because it doesn't know what you want to communicate with.
Yeah, and that could be very bad. And then trying to figure out what's wrong.
I'm pretty sure my router won't let me put the same name in now.
Probably not.
I think it says there's some sort of error or something if you try.
One of the worst network issues I ever had when I worked for Miami Systems Corporation. I went out and I bought a Hawking print server. It was a cheap clone of a 3-com, maybe the 3-port, HP 3-port print server. It was $50, and the HP version of those things was $250. Oh, cool. It came with a DHCP server installed and enabled by default. Wow. On a different website. So when you log into the thing, you by default you see all of the stuff to set up the print server. No mention whatsoever of DHCP. But all of a sudden the machines out in the warehouse aren't working right. If you reboot them, and they're okay because 99% of the time my DHCP server was faster. Yeah. But on occasion, mine got bogged down, and that stupid print server, mine was faster so frequently that I never noticed the problem for probably 3 weeks. And by then, I bought so much other stuff, I had no idea what was doing this. It was infuriating.
Every time I would used to set up printers like that with the HP deal or all the other deals, I never could get them to work right unless I set a static IP address for the devices. Never could get them to work unless, and you had to go onto the device sometimes and set a static IP address.
So that's where Unix wins out. I don't know, I guess you can do this in Windows too. If you know the MAC address of a thing, you can issue an ARP command that says, this MAC address has IP 10.10.10.5. It doesn't matter what the IP address is, your computer will talk directly to the MAC address. And then you can log in and you can set your stuff up. I assume you can do that in Windows. I don't know. But that's a trick I haven't needed since I was buying new Sun equipment.
They make it too easy now. You just plug in stuff. The Canon printer that I bought, right? The software that I downloaded, it actually went off on the network and found the MAC address. It had to be plugged into to the Ethernet port when I first set it up.
Yeah.
But it went off and said, okay, this is your printer. And I said, yes, it is.
Yep.
It doesn't have an IP address. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have, it's not set up on Wi-Fi. Right? You're right, it's not. Let's do that.
Yeah, they started out doing an ARP scan, and the first 4 characters are dependent on the company.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to find things owned by Canon.
It was like that. Well, it's not just things owned by Canon, it was things owned by Canon that haven't been set up yet.
No, if you had had multiples, it probably would have found all. It would have gone, these are set up and these aren't.
Okay.
But
I tried to use Telnet at the Windows DOS prompt.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. There's only one there. I couldn't find one.
Probably not anymore.
Not
It
anymore.
used to be TN 3270 or something. No, TN. I used to use IBM crap. TN 3270. But TN or TNet or I tried the regular stuff.
Just type Telnet.
Yeah,
Just
tell them.
No,
Just type Telnet.
I don't think it's in Windows anymore.
I think they took it out. So I mean, don't film that. Nothing.
They
load the help table. Help Telnet. Nothing.
there's no reason to have Telnet anymore unless you're doing
It's not even
something.
included in Linux anymore.
Yeah, it is.
You installed that afterwards.
Yeah.
You had to.
No. No, I didn't. And saw it afterwards. It's still there. It's
Really?
a legacy deal.
That's hilarious.
There's no reason to use it,
I
but
mean, I have installed it on things because I've needed it. Maybe I installed it on that server.
yeah, you probably installed the server.
Yeah, I got a new,
That Telnet is a soft link to SSH.
I don't know.
To which Telnet, and then ls-l or whatever it is. The alternatives.
It's the alternatives.
If you do an ls-l on that, that should point to something else.
User bin telnet kit, or net kit. I am, let's see. Up 21. I did upgrade it. I mean, it may not be there in the actual 21. But 21 got rid of a bunch of crap that they didn't support anymore, so.
Yeah. Now I got it.
overtime.
Oh, are we overtime? We are overtime. Bye, Art.
Take care.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Hey, do we want to have a physical meeting or we gonna do virtual? Cause Leroy's not gonna be here. He's gonna be at home. We might as well virtual. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, we'll do virtual. I warned our new member that we're gonna do virtual.
All right. I'll see you next week.
See you next week.